I've been thinking a lot recently about what makes a great live stream for a church, and I have a few opinions. This weekend, I spent a bunch of time watching services from churches that I consult with or that I've worked with in the past, and I wanted to get a sense for how they do their live streaming. There's a few different ways that people handle their services. The first is they'll publish the entire service online live, as though it's happening in real time. And it may be. You've got the greeting, you've got the music, you've got the offertory, you've got the message, you've got every last component in the service, which is fine if you're actually running a live service. The next example is like a live service where it's just the preacher and you just have the message. You still have the pulpit, you still have the stage, you still have, all the trappings, but it's just the speaker. This is kind of weird because in some cases I noticed that the pastor was actually preaching to an audience that wasn't there. The best ones were where the pastor was actually preaching straight down the camera and it felt like they were talking to me, which I thought was cool. The third example that I thought worked really well was where it was basically a pre-recorded message, but they edited the streams that they had title card, and then they had a greeting, and then they had the message, and then they had the closer. And I thought that worked fairly well. It seemed natural. It seemed like it made sense for the medium. Admittedly, I'm watching almost all of these after the fact, but in every single case, it felt like things were just disconnected. Like, this was a recording that was for somebody that's not me, which I get. It's not for me. It's for the church members who are paying the bills. It's for the people who feel like every single Sunday is supposed to feel the same. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong. But the problem with these examples is that none of them are building community. And in fact, they're teaching our parishioners that church is fundamentally about the people on stage and not the people who are in the pews. That's not right. I spent most of 2 decades working as a worship leader, and I developed a theology of worship that really focuses on the response of a congregation to God. It is my response to God's work in our lives. And that means worship can never be canned. It can never be something that somebody else does for me. It can only be something that I bring to God. And the idea of a worship leader, it can only be an example. It cannot be somebody who sets up the right atmosphere. It can't be somebody who sets up the right words or gives people words when they don't have it, because those words are not a response to God's goodness. It's simply words that somebody else had at one point. That's important. That's part of sharing our testimony, but I don't think that's worship. So what do? How do we do this better? If you've never watched a Twitch stream, I suggest taking about 10-15 minutes and just watch for a little bit. What's Twitch? Well, it's basically a video game streaming service where you can watch somebody else as they play a video game. In the background, there's a chat room that's going on as they're playing this game, and as they play, people are commenting. They're commenting about what's happening on screen, and the person playing the game, more often than not, is responding to those comments as they go. It's an interactive experience that isn't just about the gamer playing, it's about people interacting with the gamer while they play. Now, the thing that's amazing about this is it builds community around a single shared interest. Say, for example, you love playing Mario World, and you want to begin to build and expand on that love for that game. Running a Twitch channel is phenomenal. It gives you the opportunity to bring in a group of people who you may have never met before, but you're developing a community around that single thing that you all are interested in, that you all love, and that you want to experience together. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing with church? Are we really supposed to be putting together a stage show? Are we really supposed to be emulating concerts where we throw up our hands in ecstasy over how great the performers were? Or are we supposed to be building community? Are we supposed to be drawing people into something that we love desperately and that we want them to experience as well? And I think that's really the heart of what we need to get back to. If you're going to live stream, and there's advantages to live streaming, I hope that you're not simply taking a canned message and displaying it at a given time because that's the time that everybody goes to church. I hope that what you're doing is you're using that stream as an opportunity to build community. I hope that you're taking time to open up the stream for discussion. You could stop in the middle of your message, knowing that people are getting together in their homes to watch this, and say, stop for a second. Share with each other something that God has done in your life this week that has changed your perspective on how you deal with others. Just let there be open space. Imagine that for a second. And then ask people to comment in the chat section. Don't just have canned messages that the moderator's sitting there copying and pasting, trying to hype up the chat room. Get people involved by getting them into the conversation. Draw something out of them. I think if we started doing this, it would transform how we think about church online. I think it would make what we do something more expansive, something broader, something that could involve people from outside of our congregations and draw them into the thing that we love so much, which is God and the people that we serve with. So I know this is going to be a big topic, and I know we're going to have a lot of comments. So feel free, comment below. I'm willing to take it. Let me hear the good, the bad, the ugly, what you think. And I want to know why you chose to do your streaming service the way you did. I also hope you're going to take a moment to subscribe to this channel, because if you don't, you will not know that there are more videos coming, and there are many more videos coming. If you want to find out more about the Free Methodist Church in Southern California, visit us online at fmcsc.org.